And down you go. There we go. So, if you do a live cast and there's no one watching, are you really doing a live cast? Or are you simply recording a show that other people will watch later? I don't know. We might find out the answer to that today. I'm not sure. Because I can no longer tell if anyone's actually watching or not unless they comment in the comments over here. And even then, there's like some folks who can't comment in the comments to show up over there because Restream is kind of weird that way, but that's okay. We're gonna just kind of fluff for a moment here. I want to apologize now, but this is based on a true story. It's pretty soft. We'll bring this in a little bit more. This is one of them soft songs. I bought some pants today to see if I still could. The form filled out okay. My credit card was good. The pants came in the post. I hope that they will fit. They were on sale the most. I'd saved up quite a bit. And you can get some too, my sweetest friend. The internet has made it far too easy now to spend. And I could do this too for you with just one glance. Yes, I can do this too. Yes, I will buy you pants. True story. I did, in fact, buy some pants this weekend. I purchased them online. It's the first pants I've bought this year, I think. Two pair of blue jeans, and hopefully they fit. Anyway. So how are ya? Those of you out there in the television wonderland. So, here we are again. It's for suckers. Sometimes you just gotta go outside. And if you're not wearing something on your lower extremities, people tend to ask questions. So, you make do with what you got. Got a new song. Actually, I just finished writing another new song, but I finished writing the new song that I'm going to do at the end of this set yesterday, I think. It was kind of interesting because it bears the return of the dreaded B chord, which if you play guitar, it's the dreaded F chord, except it's on a skinnier neck. But we will get to that in a minute. What we will do before that is we'll play some more party stuff. We're going to do a little Buffett here. Yeah. You never try to keep the wild ones home. But mister, don't just sit there and wait. Get on it. Go out on the town, making all of the rounds. Learn the song. We'll start over, because that was a boating accident, and there's no graceful way to recover from it. We'll fix that in post-production. You never try to keep the wild ones home. But mister, don't just sit there and wait. Much better. Go out on the town, making all the rounds. It won't matter if you're your own day. And we're off! Vacantly occupied. Sat on the beach until my body got fried. Dreaming of your pretty eyes up in South Carolina. I can't pronounce my R's and G's when I'm speaking Southernese. Honey, come and do me again. Gotta pay attention to the chords. See? I seen your fat cat style. 300 pounds, a jive-ass smile. Young girls giggling all the while. That's not my cup of chowder. I go for candlelight. Cold champagne nearly every night. Honey, do a little toast for me and you. Bridgehead. Honey, why couldn't you have taken that non-stop train? I'm hungry, and I really want to see you again. I know it's getting late. The waiter keeps staring at your empty plate. Meter D keeps telling me, sir, she's just not coming. Well, what the hell does Garcon know? We've been through all this before. Honey, come and do me again. Bridge. Honey, why couldn't you have taken that non-stop train? I'm hungry, and I really want to see you again. Vacantly occupied. Sat on the beach until my body got fried. Dreaming of your pretty eyes up in South Carolina. I can't pronounce my R's and G's when I'm speaking Southernese. Honey, come and do me again. One more time. Well, now, honey, come and do me again. Whoa, well, now, honey, come and do me again. Honey-do. The necessity of rehearsing songs even if you're not gonna play them tomorrow. Well, you know. Speaking of songs that may kill me, this next one is a traditional song called John Barleycorn, but it is done in a non-traditional manner, and though it technically is now traditional because, well, this is just the way a bunch of people do it, which is complicated to explain. And if you ask me to explain it even more, I will probably hurt myself. I learned this one particularly literally at the knee of the Jolly Beggar, which it was Linda and Molly and Rory and Matthew, the other Matthew. And for one startling day, I got to stand in for the other Matthew because my range is the same as his was, and I knew the songs, and I could be trusted not to completely embarrass myself on the stage, which is an amazing leap of faith for those of you who knew me back in the mid to late 90s when I got to do this. This song is actually done, the words are pretty much the right words, but they're done to a song called The Idiot, which was written by Stan Rogers. And I've started to do a finger-picking style on this, which is perfect after I've just about crippled myself trying to make that B-flat sound good in Honey Do. The best part about this is that the chord changes are not where you think they ought to go. There are some asynchronous chord changes, and the chord changes happen when you don't think they should, and there are ones that don't happen where you don't want them to go. Just when you think you know where you're going, it changes again. So this could completely destroy me. Let's watch. Wow. John Barleycorn to the sea's gone down in a ship both bold and new. The thirstiest lake of Captain Drake and all his loyal crew. To venture brave through wind and wave, the Spaniard for to hold. Though he die of Spanish grape, he'll live as English malt. So we'll strike him down and we'll bind him round and we'll serve him worse than that. We'll grind his bones between two stones and we'll bung him in a vat. Then we'll drink his health in nut brown ale and we'll raise our tankards high. For before that he can live again, John Barleycorn must die. John Barleycorn to the court and gone, all dressed in fine array, in pewter clad from toe to head, to win a lady gay. The poetry that he declaims will stand him in good stead, for the ladies there all do declare they love it more than bread. So we'll strike him down and we'll bind him round and we'll serve him worse than that. We'll grind his bones between two stones and we'll bung him in a vat. Then we'll drink his health in nut brown ale and we'll raise our tankards high. For before that he can live again, John Barleycorn must die. John Barleycorn's to the hangman gone, this tale I will unfold. For Robin, loyal Englishmen of the silver and their gold, in a grave unmarked by cross nor stone, John Barleycorn is lain, till the summer rains have come and gone, and he rises up again. Honestly, the position of my middle finger in all of these chords is entirely coincidental. So we'll strike him down and we'll bind him round and we'll serve him worse than that. We'll grind his bones between two stones and we'll bung him in a vat. Don't make me laugh! And we'll drink his health in nut brown ale. We'll drain our tankards dry. But before that he can live again, John Barleycorn must die. So we'll strike him down and we'll serve him worse than that. We'll grind his bones and we'll bung him in a vat. Then we'll drink his health in nut brown ale. We'll drain our tankards dry. For before that he can live again, John Barleycorn must die. You did catch that, Richard. There is, when I'm doing the D chord, there's a weird technical thingy. Stop giggling. There's two ways of playing it, that I am aware of that work for me. And one is the traditional, where you're just putting your fingers on the first 3 strings, and you leave this 4th one open. So you get... That's a D. Now, on the other hand, I learned how to play an E chord, which starts out like this, where you kind of brace across these these 3 strings, and then this one up here. But then I realized something. This right here is a D minor. It's kind of a D flat. This is a D, right? So that's a D. Then this is a D sharp, and this is an E. Well, if this is an E, then this is a D. However, if I play this finger right here is just floating out there in space. And so it makes for the potential for making a rude gesture to your audience. Or, in my case, to whoever wrote that bloody chord chart and put those chords there where they're not where I want them to be. Which is why I started playing this again for John Barleycorn, because it's slightly less challenging. Especially after dang near crippling myself for the B minor chord. But I digress, and boy don't I ever. Next song. The next song, which is actually the last song in the set. I always look at this point, I look at the clock and I see where the heck I am. And I worry that I'm not giving y'all enough. Because, well, a couple of reasons. If this was live, if I was on a stage with an audience, there would be interplay between me and the audience, between each song and during the songs, and before the show, before I started playing and after I started playing. And that fills out a nice 25 to 30 minute spot, which if you do festivals and fairs, you know that's about the average half-hour set, because you have to have time for setting up and you have to time for cleaning up afterwards and passing the hat. Now this, I'm basically talking to y'all out there and to these word balloons over here. And that's kind of it. And there's a delay factor, which is also weird. But now, let me talk to you about the next song, which is a brand new song. And it's one that I've had percolating for a while. Yes, it is called Thank You for Coming to My TED Talk. And this is one I came up with the words before I came up with the chords. And I had to figure out what chords were going to go with the words. And what I had to do was I had to pull out one of my tuners, and I had to get a tuner that has a little microphone on it. And then I had to sing into the tuner to see what note I'm singing, because I have no freaking idea, because I'm really not very good at this. And then figure out what chord was appropriate. And unfortunately, one of the chords that I got to do here is a B chord. Now, those of you who have ever played a stringed instrument, a guitar or a ukulele, the guitar, the chord that is doom most of the time is F, because you have to cover 2 strings here, and then 1 string here, and then 1 string here. And it's, once you get it set, it's beautiful. But God help if you have to move anywhere. You just basically have to keep that shape and just figure out how far up and down you can move to get the notes that you want. I learned I could do this, bar it, and that started to work for me. Now I'm going to try and do this. This is the first time I performed this in front of anybody. I haven't even done this in front of Amy. So we'll see. It does have a certain Mike Nesmith, Country Joe and the Fish kind of vibe to it. And I'm going to try and sing it in the key, the tone that I hear in my head. And we'll see if it conveys out. Because I know I am a tenor. And I know that it's entirely possible that I'm going to sing it too high or too low. We'll see. Also, I had to teach myself yet another strumming pattern. Thank you all for coming, I sure hope you're doing well. We've gathered here together for the thoughts I've come to tell. Like how you all can change the world by changing your own mind. The scariest thing that you can do is try out being kind. By opening your eyes, your mind will become to and fro. Absurdists often find the truth, and incrementalists will change the world just slowly. Thank you for coming to my, thank you for coming to my, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you for coming to my, thank you for coming to my, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Waterproof that chicken and then give it a kazoo. That's how ducks were invented. This is God's own truth to you. Love's a small alpaca up there in the ceiling vents. If you wait a moment, I'll show you folks just how to build suspense. Please hold now. Thank you for coming to my, thank you for coming to my, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Got lost there. Thank you for coming to my, thank you for coming to my, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. The sound of one hand clapping is when you slap your friend. The Marvel movies taught us to stick around until the end. Alien abduction investigation should never ever be called a probe. And the Flat Earth Society's members are scattered all around the globe. Think on that. Thank you for coming to my, thank you for coming to my, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you for coming to my, thank you for coming to my, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you for coming to my, thank you for coming to my, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you for coming to my, thank you for coming to my, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Not bad. Not bad for a first try in what is, by my own admission, an open rehearsal with online heckling. Thank you guys for hanging out with me for that one. I will continue to do that. That song will probably grow and mutate and change. I'm okay with it. I think I was a little tenser than I wanted to be the first time to do that. I did, like I said, I finished writing that song earlier this week, and I just riffed off another song that's inspired by the fact that there was a link on Tested that got posted today from 2015, I think it was, and it was about dining in the International Space Station, and it literally had the best, most inspirational title I could possibly find. Bring on the dancing girl. We don't have a dancing girl. We have a cat. Bring on the dancing cat. I don't care. Where Mr. Hatfield, Chris Hatfield, was assembling a space burrito. And I thought, space burrito? The same brain that gave us Platypus Postman and Kaiju Coffee. It's like, space burrito, burrito in space. And that's all I'm going to do of it today. This thing has 3 verses and a full chorus. And it's trippy, and it's goofy, and it's silly, and it's just the sort of thing we're going to do tomorrow. I think I'm going to do it. I was thinking about holding off until next week, but you know what? We all need like as much cathartic silliness as we can get right now. And I think that's how we're going to do it. So we have come once again, battered, bruised, a little hand crampy, but otherwise unbowed, to the end of another Tobias the Adequate Troubadork show. I want to thank y'all for hanging out with me. Once again, without y'all here, what I do is even harder to justify, really. I also want to thank everybody who hangs out and comes checks this out after the live cast, because you go. I know I'm real big in reruns and in syndication. I'm big in syndication. Absolutely, I feel good about that. So let's do the things. We'll do the things. Here are the things. We got to do them. You know, the tip jars are over here. PayPal.com/theadequate. Venmo is @theadequate. And Eric and Robert and Rick and Emily and Miranda. have all been generous enough to throw some cash at me. Eric is actually to blame for socially emotionally distant. And this is the reason I put my Venmo account up there, because on the off chance that somebody else has money and no sense. Speaking of people who have donated to a dubious cause, I want to thank everyone in my Patreon crowd, my Party On, Party Down Patreon patron people. And that's Chris and Teppo and Shane Cascuro and Linda and Ann and Stephen and Robin, Alicia and Relly and BK and Kaylee and John and Brian and Lorraine. And I am still totally jazzed by the pictures of Lorraine's boat, which now has a nice, clear dome covering, ready for winter, because they're up there in Maryland, where winter actually happens, like hard and ugly. Everything that comes to me from any of these sources goes back into this show: the hosting of the website, the purchasing of equipment, the fact that I now have a light, and the fact that I now have a switch that allows the light to turn off and on without me having to lunge over the monitor to turn that off, and the little boom arm that the light is on, and the camera that is picking up the things that are reflected by the light, and the little Stream Deck thing down here which has buttons that I can push to change it. All of that came from y'all's generosity, and I can only aspire to be worthy of it. So, we'll see. We'll keep going. We'll see what happens. The archives are over here, of course, facebook.com and twitch.tv/TobiasTheAdequate. The Twitch page has 2 weeks worth of stuff, and if I ever have any brains left at the end of the week, I might start trying to do some highlights again. Some of these songs I think are worthy of highlights, and some of them are just like, why am I still doing it? I'm doing it because it makes you guys giggle, and that's, pretty much the thing. There's also youtube.com/MPLEGARE, which I swear to God will be up to date probably on Friday. I'm taking Friday off of the day job, by the way. You can also check out the podcast Ask Philo over at anchor.fm/theadequate, or anywhere the Adequate podcast can be found. It's a little short goofiness where Philo Thibodeau, Headbecker Kneecap, Rednecromancer from northern southeast Texas answers your questions about life, death, undeath, the dark arts and crafts, raccoon art communes, we're alligators, moon pies, giant Home Depot skeleton decorations, and the necessity of bungee cords, and how power lines truly are the bane of any rednecromancer out there. Oh, and why I'm not allowed in Nacogdoches no more. So check all that out. It's all fun, and there'll be 13 episodes in the first series, and we are up to, I think, 9 is going to be dropping on Friday at 1 a.m. for no good reason whatsoever. It's not in accordance with any kind of ancient prophecy or nothing. And that's it. That's everything this time around. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I really do. Even if you're, I can't tell who's where and who's doing what, and that's probably for the best. Because this is a lot like doing it on stage, where you're just kind of like gazing into the lights if you're in a theater, or gazing into the sun, because at this point, inevitably, the stage that I'm on is facing west. So I'm just going blind while entertaining people, and just hoping for the best. And I think you guys have certainly improved my day. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Things are changing. Things are improving. Maybe not as fast as we'd like, but we are overcoming the powers of darkness, because the powers of darkness aren't that well organized. So that's something good to know. Y'all have been wonderful. I've been Tobias the Adequate. And thank you all for encouraging my behavior, and I will see you next time. You take care.